Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the evening regular council meeting for Monday, February the 24th. Any late items?
No, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Could I have someone bring forward approval of the agenda? Councillor Van Elfen, Councillor Holmes, all those in favor? Thank you. And adoption of the minutes for the council meetings of February the 10th, afternoon and evening, and the public hearings that we also heard on the same night. Thank you. Councillor Van Elfen and Councillor Holmes, all in favor? Excellent. Okay, my mayor's report. Oh, here it is. Steal yours. Hope everyone enjoyed their Family Day weekend and had the chance to get out and enjoy some of the Summerland's trails and attractions on Monday. On February the 11th, Councillors Holm and Van Elfen and I attended the Summerland Chamber of Commerce luncheon. Guest speaker was MP Dan Elbis, who answered several questions for those who were in attendance. On February the 12th, I attended the community open house along with all of council. For those who were not able to attend, 3/4 of the room was filled with information boards highlighting specific projects in the proposed 2020 budget. Staff was on hand to answer any questions attendees may have had on major capital projects or other community investment priorities. This was the first of many engagement events planned for this year on such proposals as the Summerland Community Health and Wellness Center, which will include the new aquatic center, the downtown plan, and the solar and storage project, to name just a few. On behalf of council, I again thank CAO Haddad, Director of Finance, Mr. Svetlichny, and the many staff who worked so diligently to make the open house interactive and interesting. On February the 13th, I attended the Water Stewardship Council meeting in Kelowna. This group is a technical advisory group for the Okanagan Basin Water Board. Of particular interest was a presentation on the Okanagan Climate Projections Report released earlier this month. In short, we can expect warmer temperatures year-round, with Summerlands getting considerably hotter. We can also expect increased precipitation throughout the year, except in summer, and rain events will be more severe. The growing season will increase from about 5.5 months to almost 7 months by the 2050s and almost 8 months by the 2080s. Oh, I put 2060s. I have to change that. It is important to note that, as always, the weather varies from year to year. But these are climate projections, meaning that they look at trends over a 30-year period. Isn't that right, Dawn? On a related matter, while a high snowpack cannot be dismissed, it is the rate at which the snowpack melts and or the intensity of spring rain that makes the risk of flooding rise. For local government, there are 3 key takeaways from this presentation. Education and collaboration will play an important role in preparing for these changes. Designing to current and future climate parameters, as Councillor Barkle was talking about earlier today, is markedly more cost-effective than reacting to climate shocks and stresses over time. Local and global mitigation is a powerful tool to curb GHG emissions at the 2050 level and reduce the amount we need to adapt. On February the 14th, Councillor Holmes and I, as RDOS directors, attended the Hearts of the Land celebration at the Anelkin Centre. The event was held to honor and thank the individuals and groups, including RDOS, for their contributions to the Habitat Securement Project on Penticton Indian Band Lokati lands. Special recognition was given to Louis Alec and Ken and Darlene Lazard on behalf of the Lazard family, who donated or leased land for the project, as well as the Armstrong family and 2 trustees of the project, Jeanette Armstrong and Grand Chief Stuart Phillip. Bryn White, the program manager for the South Okanagan Similkameen Conservation Program, was also honored for her invaluable expertise in habitat restoration. On February the 20th, I and Councillor Holmes attended the RDOS board and committee meetings. Councillor Holmes has written a report on the meeting, and you can get it on the side table there. We also had a regional hospital district meeting, and as vice chair, I'd like to report out on 2 items. There will not be an increase in the hospital taxes this year. The board directed staff to explore options for funding proposed primary care and community clinics, such as the proposed one in Summerland. So they have been directed to do that. Later that day, Councillors Holmson, Patton, and I attended the Chamber's nominees reception for the Business Excellence and Community Award nominees. Then I took some time to myself and attended the high school production of Matilda at Center Stage. If you haven't seen it, it's fantastic as always. And speaking of our high school, both the senior boys and the senior girls basketball teams made it to the provincial championships currently being held in Langley. We wish them all the best. And I'm not sure if Lori has an update on where the girls are. Her daughter plays on the team.
They leave tomorrow.
They leave tomorrow. Oh, so they're not down there yet.
Yeah,
okay.
The boys are there right now.
Right. They had a game yesterday. They had another game today. Last Friday, Councillor Holmes and I attended. Councillor Holmes and I are independent. We're not married, but we attend the same things, it seems. Attended the Primary Care Network meeting. Much of the discussion was about possible funding models for centres and clinics in the regional district. On Saturday, I attended the One World Festival in Penticton. Councillor Holmes was also there, organized by the South Okanagan Immigrant Community Services. It was another colorful, entertaining, and educational day, and the food was something. I also attended the Summerland Arts Council AGM on Saturday, and want to again thank Diane Hildebrand, Betty Ann Exenis, Peter High, and Jean Evaneshan for their many years of devotion to raising the profile of arts and culture in Summerland. And that's my report.
I don't have to give mine now.
Yes, you do.
See you in 20 minutes.
See you.
Okay, thank you, Worship. So yeah, just to reiterate the community open house that was held last week, big thanks to the community for coming out and helping us put some feedback together on the budget process and bring that forward to council tonight. We've got a couple of reports tonight on the budget itself, but really excited to get a number of new processes underway around some of the priorities for the community over the next couple of years. So we're only in the beginning stages of these engagement processes and looking forward to updating the community over the next couple of months as we move these initiatives forward. So big thanks to the staff again for the energy in the room was really positive and a great start to the year to complete the budget process and also get going on some of the major projects over the next few months. So that's a quick update there, and then just quickly on the sustainability side of things, Tammy's asked me to update the community that Summerland is hosting a regional meeting of the BC Sustainable Energy Association this upcoming Sunday, March 1st. The meeting is being held at the Arena Banquet Room from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. and is open to anyone interested in discussing how to increase the use of renewable energy in our communities for everything from buildings to vehicles to industry or interested in joining, or for people interested in joining the regional task force as well. So we'll get some more information on our website on that as well. Thank you.
Good. And before you push your mic away, we're on to development services for the department monthly report.
Okay, so I'm going to provide a quick update. The report's there. Corey's done all the work here, but I'll provide a brief update. So a busy start to the year for the development services team. The report just outlines a few of the applications that are underway in the planning area. On the building side of things, we had 9 permits issued with a value of construction of $2.137 million, which was compared to the last 5 years, the busiest January that we've had. So after a busy 2019 construction year, we're looking forward to another positive year on the construction side of things in Summerland. Thank you.
Thank you. Any comments or questions on the report? All right, so could someone bring that forward for information, please? Councillor Patton and Councillor Barkwell, all in favor? Okay, on to 8.1, the first of our reports, Financial Plan 2020 to 2024, Bylaw Number 2020-003. Over to our Director of Finance.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So sadly, the district's 2020 budgeting process is coming to an end. I think I'm the only one that feels that way, actually. But so the process began back in September of 2019 with numerous meetings amongst staff. The preliminary focus at that point in time was the district's 3 utilities, being the water, the sewer, and the electric funds. The reason for that was that we needed to ensure any rate increases were in place prior to January 1st, 2020. Subsequent to utility rate adoptions, the focus shifted to the general fund. Several council meetings were held in November and January. These meetings provided council with the opportunity to review historical financial performance, budgetary pressures, as well as proposed operational needs and capital projects for the upcoming years. 2 community open houses were held to solicit public feedback, one in November to discuss the proposed utility rate increases, and a community open house on February 12th, which included individual stations outlining the strategic priorities, which has our CAO and Mayor alluded to. Public feedback was generally positive and was received well. Written feedback has been provided as part of this report for council as attachment 1, I believe. The most frequent concern received at the community open house was related to the location of the proposed dog park at Peach Orchard Beach. Based on the feedback received at both the open house as well as in advance, staff are recommending that council leave the funding for this project in the 2020 capital plan, but to have further engagement with stakeholders prior to finalizing the location. The overall impact of the proposed budget to an average household in Summerland is on the screen there, taking into account all of the district services and including all of our utility rates as well. So the average home will see a $242 increase over 2019, which equates to just over $20 a month. So based on the work that's been performed to date, the proposed 2020 to 2024 financial plan bylaw is now ready to be considered by council. Thank you.
Thank you. Council, you have the opportunity to ask questions of anyone here, but certainly our Director of Finance and also for Lori if it has to do with recreational matters. Are there any questions? Councillor Traynor.
I just have a question about, first of all, I think it's a really good idea to reconsider the dog park. And I just wanted to know, what will the report look like coming back to council to look at more options for the dog park?
Through the mayor, haven't written the report yet, but if that's the direction that's given, I would come back to council with a report outlining some potential other locations to consider and get direction from council on various other sites and a proposed method forward and next steps regarding consultation, research, costing on those selected locations. And also, I would likely recommend going to the Parks and Rec Advisory Committee for feedback as well.
Okay, can I just have a follow-up? One of the options that we all know about is Snow Avenue, I think it is. Would we be able to get more in that report, if we all agree to approve this, would we be able to get some more specifics about that location in terms of cost and usage, like current usage of that area? Would that be included in it?
I guess it depends on council's direction. My thought was bringing back a report to identify locations, and then I would go back and do the research and gather more information and costing if that's a site location that council wants staff to look into.
Okay.
Councillor Barkwell?
Yeah. While we're on the subject of dog parks, my question was similar to Councillor Traynor's. I would like to see, we've already had a consultant report on various locations, but one thing that would really help a decision, because there seems to be a lot of advocacy for the Snow Avenue location and opposition to Peach Orchard, exactly how many times a year that field number 3 is used, and the outcome of some discussions of alternative locations for want of a better term, little kids that use that field, if they could just be accommodated in one of the bigger fields easy enough, or whether temporary fencing would be needed for them. But I need some real information about that field use to help make a decision on that.
Okay. I'll just make a suggestion, either one of you, when it comes to bringing forward that particular, to make that amendment to the resolution. Right? Okay. Councillor Holmes.
Yeah, thank you. Just following up, I think, people generally would like to understand how is it Summerland has the same number of ball diamonds as Penticton, and why we need the same number as Penticton. And I think, there's a good reason, but I think people want to understand why that is, and I would like to understand that why. And I was thinking of along the same lines as Councillor Barkwell, and I actually prepared a little amendment to the motion here. To include in with this other larger motion, and so whenever we finish asking questions, I'd happy to bring that forward.
Okay. Thank you, Councillor Holmes. Questions? More questions? All right. So, I guess the first three parts of the resolution have to do with the dog park. So if you could bring that forward,
Yeah,
Councillor Holmes.
I have more comments as well, but not to do with the dog park. So I wonder if we could split this, all this into two. And so we just deal with the dog park first.
So the first three, and then the last three.
So if I could move resolutions 1, 2, and 3 as written.
Okay, and then add
a number 4, that council directs staff to return to a future council meeting with a report analyzing the use of ball diamonds in the community and what options could be available to current users of Living Memorial Diamond number 3 if it were no longer available.
If it were no longer available.
To the users, the current users of the
Okay,
of the
I get
diamond.
it. Okay, thank you. Seconder? Okay, any more questions, or does that amended resolution?
That's exactly what I was thinking. You must be a brilliant man, Mr. Holmes.
I'm a mind reader.
Oh, that's what.
Okay, so no further questions on this part with the fourth piece. I'll call the question. All those in favor? Okay, thank you. And then any questions about the financial plan as amended then? Councillor Holmes.
Yeah, just a clarification. We have in the budget, there's $75,000 for converting the pickleball courts at Peach Orchard Campground. Is that what we've budgeted?
48.
48.
48,
Okay.
I believe.
Okay, so I don't know if can I just make some comments? I don't have questions, but I have comments on this. I personally don't think this is a good use of money. I don't think that's the place to put 6 pickleball courts. Currently, there's not really intensive use with the 2 pickleball courts and 1 tennis courts, and so there's no conflict with campground use. But once you have 6 courts there, and it's the only 6 courts in the community, I really think issues will arise with the campground users. I think there'll be issues with the washroom, with parking, just with having a large number of non-campers in the campground. And we already have the campground operator requesting that there's no pickleball starting before 9 a.m. And pickleball players will want to start playing before 9 a.m. So I foresee a lot of a negative impact on the quality of the camping experience, which isn't really good for our tourism industry. In Leslie Dick's report, it mentions where the rec master plan talks about the Chamber of Commerce and others talking about the quality of campground and the lack of campground spaces in the community, how that it's affecting tourism. And I just think once you're creating a different kind of facility in there, that's only going to exacerbate that. And if we're just looking at the pickleball courts there as a temporary measure until we find a more permanent solution, then I don't really see why we're spending money on a temporary solution. We should just go straight to that permanent solution. And connected to this is, I know we're planning to build a new tennis court in 2021. That's going to require an agreement with the Racket Center, and it's just going to replace one of the courts that we're going to be ripping out. And we've been ripping out a lot of courts in this community, or letting courts deteriorate so they become unplayable. And this, in a year, for the first time ever, a Canadian has been named the Canadian Athlete of the Year. It has been a tennis player. It's the second most watched sporting event on TV last year was a tennis match. And for the first time ever, the Canadians men's tennis team made it to the World Cup of tennis, the Davis Cup. So the current interest in tennis in Canada is unprecedented. And so it's a really odd time for us to be making it really difficult for our residents to play tennis. And as it's stated in the report, we already have far fewer public tennis courts per capita than Peachland, Soyuz, Penticton, and we're not addressing that at all by removing another one. We're making it worse. And we're just going to have to spend some money later down the road to build another tennis court somewhere else. So I think this is really short-sighted. We're also going to need both tennis and pickleball courts available for non-organized play. We just can't have, it's really the principle of public courts, is that anybody can use them at any time. And so I think we're losing sight of that a little bit by having, one pickleball center and one tennis center. We have to have some courts somewhere in the community, and we already have them at the campground, where they can just be there for drop-in play all the time. So with that, I'd like to make a motion that council directs staff not to proceed with the creation of 4 new pickleball courts at Peach Orchard Campground, that the $48,000 remain in the 2020 general capital budget earmarked for new pickleball courts, and that council directs staff to receive public input on the creation of 6 new pickleball courts at the west end of Memorial Park, which is where the pickleball club wants them anyway.
Seconder? Councillor Carlson? Councillor Barkwell?
I agree with some of the things that Councillor Holmes says. And I don't know if he said it or not, but and I recognize it's not an ideal solution. I think it's a compromise solution, and when you have a compromise solution, compromises, and sometimes when a deal's done, nobody's happy. Is that sometimes it's given as a definition, and I think it is less than ideal, but it keeps us going for a while, and it's sort of the solution that came through from a lot of discussion already. So we do have to have some more pickleball courts. We're behind the ball. The pickleball is a growing sport. I don't know if there's a shortage of times available at the Rackets Club and on Lakeshore Rackets Club if you wanted to play tennis, but I think I'd like to stick with the original plan.
Anybody else care to speak to this? Councillor Van Elfen?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Yeah, I kind of thinking along the same way as Councillor Barkwell. I appreciate Councillor Holmes' thought. I don't like to see money spent, as a Band-Aid solution, and I think that's what this is at this point in time. But to say tonight that we're going to build 6 new pickleball courts in Memorial Park without, we're talking about doing a Memorial Park master plan, we're talking about our downtown master plan, and we haven't done that yet. And I'd like to know what the general population's feedback is about pickleball courts in Memorial Park. I know it's just this, again, it's a Band-Aid solution at this point in time, I believe, the Peach Orchard situation, but, we heard loud and clear from the pickleball players they wanted more, and this does address that at this time. And even if we decide in the future that we're going to put 6 more in Memorial Park, those ones are still going to be usable. So I think I would stick with the original motion.
First, a note from our CAO from our Director of Finance through the CAO. The amount is $42,000, not $48,000. And then I just wanted to say that I think that, following up on what Councillor Barkwell said, I think that the key word of what he said, not that it wasn't all important, is the word compromise. And I think that there has been compromise with the tennis players, with the pickleball players. Certainly they compromised last year when we were putting the money into it wasn't last year. The year before, when we were putting the money into the skate park. And if we look at the comments that came from the correspondence, comments and correspondence from the open house, both the pickleball community and the tennis community both said that they're supportive and appreciative of the chosen location for the Peach Orchard campground for the pickleball and for the proposed strategy moving forward. So I think that this shows a fair bit of understanding and cooperation and compromise, and I don't want to change this particular part. Councillor Carlson.
I'm wondering if you know what it costs to build a tennis court versus, do we get 2 pickleball courts in the same size? Versus
3.
the same size surface for pickleball? 4?
You can get 4 pickleball courts on the size of a tennis court.
Right, so you could build 4 pickleball courts and a tennis court if we had this conversation down the road. 4 and 1 in Memorial Park, if that was the discussion and the community wanted to go that way, you could still, wouldn't have to all be pickleball, right? I'm assuming that, right? We haven't talked about that, but there's other options if we decide to put a new pickleball facility somewhere. It doesn't just have to be pickleball. Is that's a fair statement? It's the same surface, it's the same, yes?
That is correct, but the research in other communities and this community is they don't like multi-use courts, so both tennis and
Right,
pickleball.
but
you
this
could
would
have
be
separate courts, yeah.
in the same area, but not the same, or the lines would be differentiating different sports. Okay, thank you.
Okay, any further discussion? Councillor Van Elfen.
Just a question, if I may, we still have the 2 courts at Powell Beach,
Tennis courts,
the 2 tennis courts at Powell Beach also,
correct.
and they need some maintenance, correct? Or,
They won't last long, so they're deteriorating.
okay, thank you.
Okay, I'll call the question. All in favor of this, would you like to read that again, Councillor Holmes, or are we good?
Can you read it again?
The council directs staff to not proceed with the creation of 4 new pickleball courts at Peach Orchard Campground. That $42,000?
42.
$42,000 remain in the 2020 general capital budget earmarked for new pickleball courts, and that council directs staff to receive public input on the creation of 6 new pickleball courts at the west end of Memorial Park.
Okay, all those in favor? Opposed? So that's defeated. Okay, so, any other resolutions?
Just with regards to what we just voted on, when we go to do the downtown plan, which includes Memorial Park, we will be looking at whether we can put pickleball courts in there at a future time. right?
Well,
Like, that's something
we'll
that-
be looking at how the Memorial
or
Park
tennis,
fits into
whatever.
the whole, yes.
Okay, so it's
Yeah.
still on the table, it's just not something we're doing right now.
That's correct. It's
Yeah,
not
okay.
in this year's budget.
Okay, yeah, I just wanted to.
Okay, if there are no questions of our Director of Finance, then could I have someone bring forward resolutions, I guess, 5, 6, and 7 now? Still numbered as 4, 5, and 6. Councillor Patton? And this is that the financial plan be read a first and second and third time by title, and that we have a special council meeting this Friday, yes, at 4 o'clock to consider adoption of the financial plan. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Van Elfen? All those in favor? Great. Thank you. Now on to fees and charges amendment for solid waste, bylaw number 2020-002, and the Director of Finance again.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So as part of the 2020 budget process, council was provided with information relating to increased contractual obligations at the landfill. Solid waste contracts related to both waste disposal and scale operations have increased by $69,450. As these costs are attributed to waste collection on a whole, council has proposed to increase the monthly base cart program fee by $1.40 per month. This will generate enough revenue to cover the additional costs of these contracts increasing. Additionally, the proposed bylaw amendment incorporates an increase in organic-related items such as compost, top dressing, and wood mulch. A 2-cent increase in compost materials and a 4-cent increase in top dressing and wood mulch. Along with that, there is also a 25% price reduction for single purchases of 1 metric ton and over. And so this bylaw is now ready to be considered by council for first 3 readings.
Thank you. Questions of the Director of Finance? Councillor Holmes.
Just clarification, on the fees for the yard and garden waste, there's a $5 minimum charge? We don't, Candace is here.
We've always had that.
We've always had that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Any other questions? Councillor Van Elfen.
Just a comment, Madam Mayor. I have difficulties with the increasing the price of compost. It seems like every year we have an abundance of compost we can't sell. Campbell Mountain generally has a day or two per year where they give it away for free. And, you know, we got a 25% price reduction if you get a metric ton at one time or more. It's pretty difficult for your basic homeowner with a garden and flower beds to get a metric ton, you know, at one time. You know, like, I have difficulty with raising the price of the compost because we have an abundance that we can't get rid of. You know, I know it costs money to process it, but by raising the price isn't gonna make it go out of the landfill any quicker. And the wood mulch, generally, from what I see when I go up there, we've been using a lot of our wood mulch just around the perimeter of our own landfill for dust control or what have you. Just doesn't seem like a real high-moving commodity to raise the price on.
Could either of you speak to that?
I can try, and then, so just recalling some of the comments that our manager of environmental services made during budget presentations. I believe historically, the compost specifically was at, I think it was 4 cents a kilogram, and it had been at that amount for a long time. A decision was made to try to get rid of some of those materials to lower the price to the 2 cents. And in reality, that really didn't seem to do anything. There was still an abundance of material. That material has been being used within the landfill itself for cover and those types of things. So when we look at when we were looking at the landfill and looking at ways to try to generate some additional revenue because of the increasing costs at the landfill on an annual basis, it was looked at where, because historically the price decrease was to try to remove some of this stuff from the landfill, and that didn't work, was to just put the fees back to where they were. Did I miss anything?
Just one other comment. And one other comment that was made during the budget presentations was we've seen a significant increase in 2019 in compost sales, and that came from a small marketing campaign that was done, very off the cuff, very preliminary, very simple, but it did generate a pretty significant increase in sales. And so the intent was that we look at moving the price back to where it was previously and continue with increased marketing in 2020 and moving forward, and that is likely going to see a higher impact on those sales. And like Dave said, create some generated revenue for the landfill.
Any other questions? I have one. This is getting back to the separated yard and garden waste. Over 500 kilograms is $45.
Does this pertain to the bylaw amendment in front of council?
Yes. 1.3.44.
So, 3.44. I don't think. Right here. Sorry, Madam Mayor, I'm just. The bylaw amendment in front of council only deals with the base cart fee and the compost. I think the entire bylaw has been provided for council as I'm not sure why.
Okay.
But that is a current fee that the district has. 1.3.44. Separated yard and garden waste is a $5 minimum charge.
But I'm a little confused by how it reads there. So it shows no charge up to 500 kilograms, and then over 500 kilograms, it's $45, but with a $5 minimum charge.
Yeah, I can see that.
I think I can explain it.
Please try.
If you bring 510 kilograms,
Mhm.
you're still going to be charged $5. But if you bring 500 or less, you're going to be charged $0.
Right, but it says over 500, you're charged $45.
Per
No,
metric
opposite.
ton.
Per metric ton. So once you get to a metric ton.
Per metric
So-
ton.
But that item, we're not
Oh,
actually
but-
changing that. That exists already. We're just talking about the,
I know, but I just, it seemed kind of odd to me the way that it was written. But if you're understanding that, then, fine.
Yeah, it took me a while.
It's confusing.
You look where it says fee, and then
Yeah.
Yes,
per metric.
per metric ton per load.
And then you're reading the price of it, so that it's, I know it's, we're creative thinkers.
Okay. All right, thank you. Okay, never mind, David, I've put you on the spot there a little bit, I apologize. Just for my misunderstanding. Now you're thinking about it, aren't you?
No, I'm not, actually, I saw that there too.
all
but-
good, it's all
So again, the bylaw amendment in front of council specifically relates to the $1.40 increase,
$1.40.
as well as the changes in the
compost
composting rates.
rates, yeah.
Everything else is already in place and is being charged.
Okay. All right, so, can anybody want to bring this forward then? Thank you. Reading first, second, and third time, and again, we'll have we'll talk about it again on our special meeting for adoption on Friday. Seconder? Councillor Traynor? All in favor? Great, thank you. Now on to 8.3, regulating cannabis grow operations. This is a recommendation for a resolution, and I'm going to have Councillor Barkwell speak to this. This was his motion.
I think the motion is rather self-explanatory. The issue of odors from cannabis grow operations is a big issue everywhere, and we need to know what we can do about it here in Summerland. And I would prefer to have been able to recommend that we simply limit cannabis grow operations on agricultural land to only what the Agricultural Land Commission regulations require to be permitted. But I don't know if there could be implications from that, so we'll have to get a report on that part of it too. So I'll introduce the motion that staff be directed to research and bring a report back to council with recommendations for a bylaw that will allow the district to have effective and enforceable regulations of odor from cannabis grow operations, and that staff advise on the implications of limiting cannabis production on agricultural land to only the activities required to be permitted under Section 8 of the Agricultural Land Commission regulations.
Okay, seconder? Councillor Patton? Questions of Councillor Barkwell or discussion? Councillor Van Alphen?
Could Councillor Barkwell give me some clarification on Section 8?
Well, I was just thinking about that. You'd have to read the, it's in Bulletin 4 here that's attached with our report. That doesn't necessarily mean it's clear and understandable. But basically, it says that, would have to put my glasses on. That you have to permit, you cannot put in a regulation that would not allow, double negative there, cannabis outdoors in a field or inside a structure that has a base consisting entirely of soil. So I don't know, I guess you could plant your cannabis in the ground, and previously defined base, growing in, they use different terminology in soil, and they specifically said pots was not in soil, had to be in the ground. I don't think anybody's going to be doing that anyway, these things, but it kind of, I guess, fit with the definition of some sort of agricultural use.
And as well, Section 8 talks to the, what time the structure was built. So there's grandfathering prior to July 13th of 2018.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think the regulations do give a local government some level of control of how they want to see cannabis production occurring within our boundaries. So I think we should certainly have a good understanding on what we can and can't do, and have that discussion have that discussion, how far we want to deal with it.
Councillor Traynor?
So right now, odor, it's left up to the federal government to enforce, is that correct? Or Health Canada, is it?
I believe so. I don't have the exact answer, but there is through the review process that we're going to have to do, we're going to have to identify who regulates it, what ability we may have to change those regulations or go over and above some of those regulations.
That's what I was going to ask. Can you have two bodies regulating
And
the same thing?
they're the things we need to do some investigation on, as well as our good neighbour bylaw, for example. Can that be used as a tool to regulate odour, for example? So there's a few different bits and pieces that this research that Councillor Barkwell is asking us to do will need to be undertaken. So.
Okay, and then I just have one other question. When it comes to odor, is there some kind of like threshold for like how many days in a row it smells, or how strong it is? I guess that's what
we will try and find out.
Okay. Okay.
Councillor Barkwell, you had another
Yeah, I
comment?
was just going to, note from the discussion, it might not be entirely clear, but really we're only wanting to consider the regulation of the odors. If you want to grow cannabis and it's not going to affect the neighbors, because we don't need any more new things affecting neighbors, then go at it. But it's just the odors this is to be dealt with.
Any further discussion? All those in favor? And none opposed. Thank you. We're on to number 9, which is the opportunity for the public to comment on the items that you see on the monitor, either side of the room. 15 minutes maximum, 2 minutes per speaker, please. And as you approach, Dawn, your name and your address, please.
Okay. Yeah, my name is Dawn Richards. I live at 14119 Prairie Valley Road. Mayor and Council, I would like to address agenda item 8.3, regulating cannabis grow operations. And I'm pleased to see that there's a report coming forward and some investigation. I realize some changes have been made to the regulations governing cannabis grow operations, but I'm a little confused about some recent developments. And so quickly, in the fall of 2018, a property in Prairie Valley made an application to the ALC for the removal of soil and placement of fill to prep the land for a grow-op. On July 10th of 2019, the ALC Executive Committee refused that application due to deficiencies in their application. On December 13th of 2019, it was reported in the Penticton Herald that a building permit was granted to the owner of this property that I was just talking about to build a 68,000 square foot processing plant. So going forward on such developments, I have a few questions. Why did the district issue a building permit for this property if the ALC refused the application? These are things I don't know about. And in the case such as the above, do the owners have to reapply to the ALC before construction takes place? And has something changed between the refusal of that application and the granting of the building permit? So I know it's really,
Yeah, no,
it's confusing because, I have been reading these documents and the changes in these documents for the last 2 years. And now I'm reading, it doesn't make sense to me, but maybe you can make sense of it for me.
Yeah, through the chair, Your Worship, what I'd recommend is if you could email me your questions so we can go and get you the exact answers
I
to
will
those
do
questions.
that.
I think that'd be a fantastic way of trying to answer
Yeah.
those, because I know there's been a lot of confusion with the changes in regulations that have come across quite quickly over the last
Yeah.
couple of years. So if you've got the specific address, the specific questions, we can certainly do that research and get you those answers.
I guess with the different levels of government, it's sort of like, who has the most jurisdiction over what happens to this property or these properties? Like, can you do this if the ALC says yes, but the municipality says no, and yada, yada, yada?
You'll be able to get details, once you submit your questions, detailed answers to your questions. But there was a change that brought on this development permit being issued. And Anthony Haddad can let you know
Oh, okay.
exactly
So-
how
so I'll just
that
forward these
worked.
questions. Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you. Okay, would anybody else? Thank you.
Clint Skinner from 10222 Gilman. First of all, I'd like to thank council for putting this motion forward, and maybe we can get some answers. I have a draw-up that's not, I don't have it. I am close to a draw-up that has, and the main problem there is the odor, as you all know. And I would just like to, I look around this table, and this development and problem started in somewhere around 2013. So this neighborhood's been putting up with this odor for that long. The only one that I can see around this whole table here, Marty, was the only one that was here. Well, everybody else is new. So maybe you don't realize that in 2013, there was a motion put forward from council for staff to look into basically the same thing you are asking staff to look into now. I think that motion probably did not even go out that door because no one did anything about it. There was reports that one of the staff members did try to do something, but the CEO at that time, you need to take your guess because we've had lots of them, which one it was,
We know
said,
who it was.
don't carry on with it. We do not want to open up that can of worms. So do not do it. And it never went forward anymore. Never became to another council meeting. As far as the laws goes and everything like that, the only thing I can see is the federal government, which gives out the licenses to these places, under the Cannabis Act, has Section 5, Part 5, Section 85 addresses the issue of odors. And every place, legal place in this town has to have a license from the federal government. They're the ones that can control this odor. Unfortunately, I don't think that's a permanent situation because you never ever will get them to apply or do anything about it. We've tried since 2013 to get the federal government to do something, and they do nothing. So good luck with this, and I hope you carry it through, and maybe something can come about it and help us out. Thank you.
Try again, right?
That's all you can do. Like a dog bylaw, you try 3 times and they forget about it after that.
Hi, Mel.
Mayor, councilors, staff and guests. I'm Mel Cozen. I'm a resident of Prairie Valley, 13917 Prairie Valley Road. First of all, I'd like to commend council for pushing forward this motion to hopefully complete the study and develop some really, really good bylaws. I just want to make a few points regarding this study. One of the first points I would like to see is When the study is near completion or completed, I would like to see a public information session to the citizens of this community, much like we've done in the past for some other contentious issues. And that will give not only an opportunity for us residents to see what the bylaw proposals are, but give some input into possible changes. I think that would be a very important step. Further to this public presentation, I'm just making that suggestion because I think these 2-minute and 15-minute sessions for public input when the bylaws actually come up are not really sufficient for good, adequate public input. The other point I'd like to address is in terms of the bylaws, they definitely need to address health issues, and I know there are other government jurisdictions that are going into it, but for example, I was just reading recently, the Public Health of Ontario has had for them identified something like in excess of 200 chemicals, VOCs, volatile organic chemicals, that are in the process of either cultivating or processing organic cannabis products. And I think that's a pretty major issue. I don't think we should be permitting that into the atmosphere. They should be kept within the building, scrubbed or whatever. Quite frankly, the technology, the state-of-the-art technology is available now to do most of this. This business of putting aerosol into the atmosphere to neutralize the chemicals, I think is pretty archaic and probably not appropriate in these cases. The other thing I'd like to see is in terms of commercial operators, whether they be cultivators, processors, sellers, or whatever, in terms of mitigating the smells, they should adopt the state-of-the-art technology, but not only that, our bylaws should allow the community of well, not the community, but the government of Summerland to vet all the in terms of issuing the permits, to vet the procedures that are going into place to control these chemicals, and unless they're vetted by the licensing people of this government, I don't think they should be issued. And further to that, I would add another point, and that maybe we can put a moratorium on issuing further licenses until our bylaws are adequately in place. And my last point would be in terms of maybe a good neighbor policy, especially for private citizens who are growing their own pot of 4 plants, that at least they respect their neighbors and they don't open their windows and so forth. In other words, if they're growing their plants, they should keep the odors to within their buildings. My last point, I guess, is that hopefully the municipality develops some kind of a procedure in place for people to, so that complaints can be addressed, and a monitoring system perhaps can be in place, i.e. neighbors surrounding these grow-ups or whatever the case you might want to call them. I'm not sure if monitoring technology is in place or not, but maybe the study can address that as well.
Okay.
So, I thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, is John still here? I saw him come in. He's not there anymore? Okay. All right. Now on to item 10.1, correspondence. Is there any correspondence that folks would like to bring forward? Okay, I guess that is no. And could I have someone receive the correspondence for information? Councillor Van Elfen? Seconder? Thank you. Councillor Traynor? All those in favor? And committee and commission minutes, they're just the CCAC meetings of January the 8th. If there are no changes to that, that's the Climate Action Group. Richard, you probably would be best.
I wasn't at that meeting.
Oh, you were not at that meeting. Okay, well, we'll take them for what's showing there. And if I could have someone receive Councillor Holmes, seconded by Councillor Patton. All those in favor? Great. Councillor reports. I'm going to start with Councillor Carlson today.
Went library board meeting last Wednesday. The strategic plan is in progress, almost complete. There wasn't really a lot. It was an election of chair and committees and things, and seems like the libraries continue to have that consistency which we require and need. So Karsten came with me. He slept through the whole thing, so it must have been a little bit dry.
Thank you. I'm glad that you decided that you were able to stay on the ORL, represent us.
It's a good group.
Thank you.
I have a call tomorrow with the executive director of the BC LTA, which is the Library Trustees Association, to see if we might get some proper board training around the library board table so that all the trustees actually have a understanding of the Library Act and what it is that they can and should be doing, and not just.
And how many are there?
26, I believe.
Yeah.
But, you know, when you meet 4 times a year very briefly, you don't really get into the meat very much. So hopefully something will come of that.
Good. Councillor Barkwell?
Thank you, Your Honor. It's at the Chamber of Commerce nomination awards thing on Thursday, and I guess one comment or thing that stuck out with me was that there was sure a large number of people nominated in the new business category. Big field. And I don't know if that's suggestive of anything. Other than that, budget meeting, attended that. It was certainly a great job by staff, and Anthony's presentation was well received. Or, no, it was David, sorry. Yeah.
I'll take that for you.
It was David, he did, and I wish I could speak as well as David.
Thank you, Councillor Barkwell. Councillor Holmes.
Just give me your mayor's report, I'll read that again.
Alrighty.
Here we go. Well, the One World Festival on Saturday, it was great to see a lot of Summerland participation in that. And then I zipped over to the Arts Council AGM, and again, it's great to see that they're going strong. They've got 4 new board members, some new people to the community, including I think, didn't Julie?
Julie Patton.
Julie Patton is a board member.
Yes.
The new board member.
That's not what surprise to you.
So it's great to see that they're still going strong with, in the face of some, a lot of frustration, or incredible patience, I think, with waiting for the renovations to get underway. So it's nice to see. On Friday, I filled in for Councillor Carlson on the Agricultural Advisory Committee. It's what a great committee that is. It's really a dedicated group of people. And then it was over to the Division of Family Practice for the primary care local government workshop, which was a follow-up on talking about funding models for primary care clinics throughout the region. I was kind of following up from the previous day at the RDOS, which in my RDOS report, you'll see we talked about. One thing I forgot to mention in the RDS report was that the new regional RCMP superintendent, Hunter, came before the board. And it was more of a get-to-know session. We didn't hit them with too many heavy questions, but we will next time, so. And then I also attended the chamber nominees reception that evening. So yeah, like, good luck to all the nominees. The panel interviews will be March 10th to 13th. They might still be looking for people to participate in those interview panels, so if anybody has some time on any of those 3 days, just give the chamber a call. The week before that, the Hearts for the land events, the Naukin Center that the mayor mentioned, it was a great event on Valentine's Day, and then Wednesday before that was the Chamber of Board meeting, followed by the budget open house, and I'd like to thank staff as well for that was a really amazing open house, and just like to put a suggestion out there, maybe, I don't know if it's possible, but to perhaps video the presentation and then post it online. I think a lot of people would be able to reach more people that way, be more informative. I know the RDS this year have been, with their budget, have been putting online explanations of the budget, and it's been quite well received. And then on the day before that, on the Tuesday 11th, the luncheon with MP Dan Elbis at the Chamber. The next one will be with MLA Ashton on the 19th of March. And that evening, that Tuesday evening, I went to the Okanagan College Speaker Series, where our very own Tammy Rothery was speaking on the subject of climate change in the Okanagan, crisis or opportunity. It was a very good talk, and the great thing about going to see Tammy speak in other communities is that she always makes Summerland look really good.
Okay. Councillor Traynor.
I attended the budget open house along with everyone else, and then for the last week I've been single parenting 2 little children, so I haven't had time to do anything, and I would have loved to have gone to some of the things that you guys went to. That's it.
Councillor Traynor. And, yeah, thank you. Councillor Van Elfen.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Yeah, I too did attend the chamber luncheon with our MLA. It's quite an informative lunch, or MP, sorry. And the budget open house, I thought it was very impressive. I was impressed with the turnout, the amount of people that came through, and the different presentations from our different departments. So it was a really well-attended evening, I thought, and really well coordinated. And just to bring to everyone's attention, this Wednesday is anti-bullying day, pink shirt day, so if you have a pink shirt, please wear it. I mean, it's sad that once a year we recognize this, but you know, I don't feel like I got bullied today, so life's good.
And Councillor Patton.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I too would like to hop on congratulating staff on the budget open house.
Well, why did I even say on behalf of council then? You guys deserve it.
But what I really found interesting was, in regards to the venue, was to allow, and one of the big items, of course, that we spoke about tonight was the dog park, and to give our citizens the opportunity to tell us what they think, and I think that was invaluable as we move forward to get that input. It was fantastic. Business Excellent Awards, I have to agree, there was a ton of nominations this year, which was nice to see. KVR board meeting this week also for the railway. I just want to let Mayor and Council know that the annual AGM is going to be on April 25th at 1 o'clock, and it is the KVR's 25th anniversary this year, and I do believe that they are going to be contacting Karen or Nicole, and they would like to give us a brief update of what is they plan on doing this year. They've got a lot of festivities happening up at the rail station this year, and I think it's going to be a great 25th.
Is the AGM up there?
The AGM is going to be at the Stone Church.
Oh, Anglican Church, okay.
Anglican Church, yes.
1 o'clock.
1 o'clock.
Thank you.
And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, he's gone again. Okay, well, I saw John come back into the room, and now he's gone again. So now I'd like to ask someone on council to bring forward a resolution to close this meeting to the... Oh,
Public,
We have a new public
12.
comment
Item 12.
again.
I know it's
we have another public comment?
This is the one that's not on the agenda. Stuff for anything else.
Ask anything.
This is,
Someone, the numbers are.
I thought we already had two. Oh, no, I'm thinking of the one earlier today. I'm sorry. Yes, please, Marianne, come forward.
And give us your name.
Okay, Mary Ann McDonald, 6505 McDonald Place. Mayor and Council, you are all aware that through the Freedom of Information Act, that I have received a great deal of material, including some correspondence on the integrated solar project. It is disturbing to find out that, although there was some discussion among staff about site location, it seems it was predetermined from the beginning. In February of 2018, Councillor Carlson requested or questioned why the current site, which is Cartwright Mountain, was in the preliminary report. The answer, there needed to be a specific site for the grant application. In June of 2018, it was reported that staff had reviewed 90% of the project and next steps were to bring forward potential locations. In July of 2018, the solar report was discussed at the Committee of the Whole, stating all recommended sites would be reviewed in detail. Staff wanted council to be aware that Cartwright was to be added to the list. It still appears as the favored site, as it had been from the beginning before any professional expertise was brought in. September 2018, definitely no decisions made. Then February 26, 2019, a memo to staff telling them they had only one shot at this and everyone needed to be on board to sell this project. February 27, 2019, the information is presented to council in a closed session to consider the prime potential location for the project, identified through the comprehensive selection process without, I might add, adequate information for council input. And of note, in the agenda draft, options for site selection was crossed out. Confirmation for securing this grant was contingent on all funding sources, including $1 million out of Summerland's general revenue, because I would imagine the project had a shortfall of this amount. I believe information was selectively given to council, which has put them in an awkward position of accepting what was presented to them without having the opportunity to explore and discuss other sites. And I believe that the site selection needs to be reviewed again by council and without bias. Thank you.
All right. Anybody else care to comment? I think we've heard from everybody else tonight already anyways. Okay, and John is not here. So now I will ask if someone could bring forward a resolution to close the meeting to the public. Councillor Barco?
Are we adjourning this meeting and then carrying on with the afternoon meeting? Yeah.
Is that what we do?
Yeah, we'll just reconvene the
Reconvene
closed
the
session
meeting, okay.
after this.
So we will adjourn this meeting, Councillor Barkwell,
Aye.
and seconded by Councillor Van Elfen. All those in favor? Thank you. And a